equals the dimly lit room carried an air thick with unspoken words. A single window, dust-strimed and half-covered with crumbling blinds, allowed only slivers of light to pierce through, casting flickering shadows on the peeling wallpaper. It was in this space, saturated with the scent of old paper and regret, that Theodore voiced a confession he thought would absolve him, only to realize the futility in his attempt. Outside, the world spun on obliviously, unaware of the tumult brewing within these walls. The events of that fateful night replayed, each fragment punctuated by the muted thud of his heart. He had been there a year ago, standing on the threshold of a decision that felt momentarily insignificant. He could still hear the strident laughter of friends fading into the night as they ventured off to their own little escapades, leaving Theodore alone to linger longer than intended. It was then he spotted her, Clara, a fleeting presence whose smile was an elegant reminder of the warmth he'd lost years prior. Why he felt drawn to her in that dimly lit bar came to haunt him. It was the excitement of possibility mixed with a hollowness that made the connection feel instantly perilous. In a blur of moments leading up to the profound downfall, the truth stood buried under layers of denial. The carefree giggle that slipped from her lips during an intimate conversation quickly gave way to a dark shadow creeping into his mind should he choose this road. But he had, driven not by glorious abandon but a deep-seated desire for connection. In that moment of temporal embrace, he had seized her hand, though the weight of an unmade decision lingered like a noose around his neck. When Clara was found months later, abandoned in a city alley devoid of warmth and light, the burden squashed him like lead. The whispers of what could have been, the premonitions he had deprived them both of, gripped his insides. What if he had intervened? What if he had made different choices? Night after night, haunting specters plagued his sleep, faces of people who had searched for her, their pained eyes reflecting not only loss but judgment. As days wore on, he navigated a world that felt increasingly suffocating. Laughter at gatherings seemed a cruel mockery to his internal grief. Theodore became the embodiment of contradiction. A man who yearned for redemption yet recoiled from the truth. Within him, a war brewed, as guilt transformed into a suffocating blanket wrapped tight around his being. He would sit in crowded cafes, haunted by conversations gliding around him like currents, each word a reminder of the life stolen from Clara. He muttered to himself, hoping to drown out the morose echoes deep within. But amid the muck of his despair, a chance encounter one rainy afternoon offered a glimmer of hope for redemption. An old friend, Nora, noticed his distant demeanor, and sensing something crucial lay beneath, pressed him for disclosure. As the rain drummed against the window, spilling shadows across their table, he began to unfold the events of that terrible night. Each word became an anchor, yet it only dragged him deeper into the abyss. He laid bare the guilt coursing through him, expecting solace but finding only the weight of expectation to plead for salvation. Just as he braced himself for a moment of catharsis, retaining what little sanity he had left, Nora's expression shifted from concern to something colder, a judgment meticulously cloaked in compassion. "You had a chance to stop it, to change everything," she rebuked quietly. Theodore winced as her words pricked at the still-open wounds. The realization struck hard, more than he anticipated. It wasn't just Clara's life that hung as fruitless potential in the air. It was also his own, an intertwining of fate woven together with strands of loss. The shackles of consequence wrapped tighter, holding him fast in a twilight of uncertainty. In the suffocating air of that moment, Theodore recognized that redemption lay not outside, but within, yet his insides felt too lacerated to heal. He still inhabited that dimly lit room, caught in the relentless echo of Clara's laughter, now forever tainted by a melody steeped in sorrow. As he left the cafe, a specter of resolve wrestled him into silence. The world carried on in its relentless pursuit, unaware that within it, every choice made and unmade spiraled towards an unwritten conclusion, an ambiguous ultimatum awaiting any semblance of justice, redemption, or simply despair.